Imagine a fish swimming through the deep ocean. It can measure the water temperature, track the currents, and navigate the reefs. But it possesses zero capacity to comprehend the dry land, cities, or stars outside. It is blocked by a biological barrier it cannot even see. We assume human intelligence allows us to see the full scope of reality, but we are constrained by boundaries we rarely notice. The first of these is the moment of arrival. No human being alive ever consented to their own existence. This realization drives the philosophy of anti-natalism. It poses an uncomfortable question: whether creating life is an act of love, or if it is the act of forcing someone to participate in a mandatory struggle they never agreed to. To understand this, look at this balance scale representing human experience. The left side crashes downward under the weight of guaranteed physical pain, grief, and fear. The right side represents pleasure. Avoiding that heavy left side is a positive outcome, but missing out on the right side doesn't hurt you if you don't exist. You simply remain in a neutral state. The 19th century philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer looked at this dynamic and concluded that human life functions like a trap. He argued that we are caught in a cycle. We suffer because we desire things, we achieve brief satisfaction, and then we immediately form a new desire, starting the struggle all over again. Under this framework, entering existence is a forced entry into a confined trap of inescapable physical and emotional struggle. Once inside this physical trap, you hit a second boundary, the isolation of your own mind. You can observe your friends and family, but you can never actually feel their exact pain, see their memories, or watch the internal movie of their reality. The 17th century thinker René Descartes pushed this skepticism to its limit. He realized that while you can be certain you are thinking and experiencing things, you have no hard proof that anyone else around you possesses their own inner consciousness. This leaves us in a state of tension. We are biologically wired to crave deep connection with others, yet we are locked in permanent solitary confinement within our own skulls. This isolated existence is paired with a hidden deadline. You are holding a bank account of time, but you have no idea what the balance is. You only know it will eventually run out. The Stoics, like Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, embraced this ticking clock through the practice of Memento Mori, the active reminder of inevitable death. They didn't do this to induce panic, but to assign urgency and value to the choices made during that limited window. Friedrich Nietzsche framed this hidden deadline through his concept of eternal recurrence. He challenged us to consider if we would accept living our exact same life, with every mistake and triumph, on an infinite loop. Our solitary experience is a countdown toward a deadline that could arrive at any moment. But even the timeline you use to build that meaning might be an illusion. Last Thursdayism is a logical problem stating that you have no way to prove that the universe, along with all your memories, wasn't created a few moments ago. The philosopher Bertrand Russell used this concept to show that our grip on reality relies on unprovable trust. Our human brains do not store memories like perfect computer files. They reconstruct stories that constantly overwrite themselves. If your personal history can be fabricated, the environment around you can be as well. This leads to simulation theory, the hypothesis that our universe is an advanced digital enclosure. We already see the blueprints for this today. As we build hyper-realistic digital worlds and virtual economies, the mechanics of creating artificial realities move from science fiction toward technical possibility. Philosopher Nick Bostrom points out that if a future civilization becomes advanced enough to run highly realistic simulations, they would likely run billions of them. Statistically, the odds that we inhabit the one original, non-simulated reality are very low. If the past is a reconstruction and the universe is potentially simulated, the reality we inhabit is a persistent enclosure with no obvious exit. Yet, if the past is a story and the physical world is a digital cage, we still have to explain the most intimate boundary of all, the awareness experiencing it. Why does any of this feel like something? This is the hard problem of consciousness. We can map how the brain's neurons fire, But mapping the circuitry offers no explanation for why a collection of atoms generates a private, subjective feeling of being alive. To solve this, some turn to panpsychism. This theory suggests that consciousness isn't something the brain manufactures. Instead, it argues that a basic form of awareness is a raw ingredient of the universe itself, present in all matter. Here we hit the final boundary. Mathematician Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem proves that within any complex system, there are core truths that are impossible to prove using the rules of that system. This suggests that our cognition operates within a fixed perimeter. While we can see the shadow of universal truths, our biological hardware may lack the necessary architecture to bridge the gap between our perception and the base reality that created us. Human awareness acts as a biological perimeter, restricting us to the data we can process while the broader universe remains beyond our reach. Like the fish in the dark water, we are staring into a void we may never be equipped to understand.